The man snatched the hat away. Annie was so angry that she cursed him and ran after him, but the man was gone in no time. Just when Annie wanted to give up, he suddenly reappeared with a brand new hat. Annie was a law school graduate, but lately, she's been having trouble finding a job. At the suggestion of her best friend, she went to the most amazing street in Europe. She didn't expect to meet a punk. She was just about to leave. He stopped her again and asked her to join him for coffee tonight. Anne agreed. Carl returned to the palace. The queen threw a party in his honor. She wanted him to meet the ladies of the house to decide on a candidate for the throne. Carl dealt with it perfunctorily. When it was over, he rushed to the park to meet Anne. It was Anne's first date with a man. She had a smile on her face. They went to a restaurant together. The guy at the diner was startled by the prince's arrival. Carl signaled him not to reveal his identity. He knew what he was doing. He sat them down. They had a nice conversation. When they parted, they didn't want to leave each other. They went for a walk by the lake. They talked about everything from poetry and songs to life's aspirations. In the midst of the snow, they looked at each other with deep love and drew nearer. But the phone rang suddenly. They had to leave together. Annie and her girlfriends went to a museum. Looking at the portrait of the prince, her eyes widened for a moment. The staff explained the portrait was of the prince of his country. Carl came to pick up and on his motorcycle for a ride. Annie called him Your Highness right away. Carl explained that he didn't mean to deceive her. He was just afraid that his status would interfere with their relationship. He took Annie to visit the orphanage. While he was playing games with the children, the staff said, "This is the place that Carl has been supporting for years, but he always came alone." Annie was the first woman he brought here, and as the days went by, their relationship grew stronger and stronger. Carl invited Annie to meet his parents at the palace. He had his heart set on this girl. Annie's mind was reeling. She was so excited to share this with her best friend. Then she was worried because she didn't have a dress. Luckily, the hotel manager arrived just in time. Looking at the expensive, custom-made dresses, the queen was still trying to choose a princess for Carl, but then out of the blue, he suddenly brought back a beautiful girlfriend. Though she acted kindly, but she was not happy with the prince's love for Cinderella. She felt that this girl was not good enough for her son. She decided to put an end to this farce in her own way. Annie tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. She could feel the Carl family's resentment toward her. She heard something outside. She went to the window to check. The night was truly a time for two. The smile on their faces never stopped. That's how their love was confirmed. But the picture of them kissing, paparazzi in the corner caught them on camera. The next day, when Annie came downstairs, a large number of reporters immediately took pictures. Facing the sharp questions, Annie was so scared that she backed away. When Carl found out that Annie was in trouble, he immediately went to find her. The queen tried to dissuade him, saying that Annie wasn't good enough for him. They had a violent argument. They parted on bad terms. Carl came to comfort Anne with flowers and kissed her. He said he wanted to take her to Paris for a vacation. Annie was in a quandary because she got a call from the office that she'd been accepted. She had to report for work next Monday. Annie took a hard look at the relationship. She chose to work in another country. Carl begged Annie to stay, but Annie's mind was made up. Carl tried to play it cool, but his face became heavy. As he watched Annie leave, Carl heard the sound of a broken heart.